Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you the top books that I read this summer. So usually I do my top 5, but you can see I did not read a lot of books this summer. I feel like it was just a super busy summer. Like there was a lot of traveling, a lot of major life events happened in summer, and I just kind of got out of reading a lot. I feel like in the fall I'll definitely get back into reading, but this summer was just very slumpy. So instead of doing my top 5, I will just do the top 2 books of this summer. So the way this video will be structured is I'll go through all the books that I read over the months of June, July, and August, and then at the end I'll talk about my top 2 books. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting out in the month of June, I first read Lessons in Chemistry by Garmus, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars, and The Golden Doves by Martha Hall Kelly, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Moving on to July, I read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which I gave a 3 and a 3.5 out of 5 stars. For the month of August, I only read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, which I gave a 2 out of 5 stars. So first up, I have Lessons in Chemistry. This book was amazing. I've heard really tremendous things about it, and I was really excited to finally pick it up. I actually read this when I was going to Vail for one of the conferences, so I just always associate it with that. But this book was truly fantastic. We follow this young woman who is named Elizabeth, who is a chemist, and she works at this kind of high-level research facility in the 1950s. But because she's a woman in STEM, she's not really respected as her position, and she ends up falling in love with one of the kind of brightest minds there is in this field. And then it kind of flash forwards several years later, where she is a host of a kind of like cooking show for women, and she kind of becomes very popular. But this book was fantastic. I am excited for the TV show starring Brie Larson. I don't know if I think it was coming out in October, but I don't know with the writers and actors strike if it's going to be coming out then or not. But I think this, like when I was reading this book, I was definitely picturing her as Elizabeth. This book has a lot of really fun humor mixed in as well. Like one of the perspectives that you get is from one of the dogs, which I thought was really fun, but there's a lot of humor and like quick wit written into the dialogue, which made it a lot of fun. There are times where I would laugh out loud, times where I got really emotional, and I can definitely see why this book has been one of the top books, I want to say from last year or so, or a few years ago. So it's definitely well worth it, and I really appreciate being a PhD in a STEM related field. I can really kind of appreciate the sexism and kind of obstacle Elizabeth has to face. Even though this takes place during the 50s, I feel like there are still a lot of obstacles that women pursuing STEM careers have to face. So that was really fun getting to see, and kind of something I could relate to. So this book is definitely worth all the hype and praise that it gets, because it was honestly phenomenal. And the final book that I have to talk about is The Golden Doves by Martha Hall Kelly. I was really excited for this book to come out. I love her like Faraday sister trilogy. I've always really enjoyed her writing style, and this one was a little bit different. It's almost kind of like, it is like marketed as a historical fiction, but I would say it does have kind of spy and murder mystery elements to it. So we follow 2 friends in the 50s who several years prior were part of the French resistance, and they were the team known as the Golden Doves, who were living in Nazi-occupied France during World War II, and they had a very significant role in the resistance and sending information to the Allies. But they ended up getting captured and sent to Ravensbrück, where that very much kind of changed the course of their lives. And so several years later, one of the main characters works for, I want to say kind of like the CIA, and she is tasked with finding one of the doctors that was doing experiments for the for the Nazis in the Ravenbrook's camp. And so both of these two characters have kind of a vendetta against this guy, and so it's very much kind of a trying to find this Nazi that kind of disappeared into thin air, but there's also kind of like this thriller spy element that's mixed into it, which kind of took me by surprise, but I really enjoyed. It was very interesting getting to kind of see the kind of World War II historical fiction side and then the present day narration of kind of the, you know, mouse hunt, and it was just really fun. It kept me on my toes. Like, it was super suspenseful. I felt like every chapter ended on a cliffhanger, and it was just a joy and thrill to read. I do think that because it is marketed as kind of a traditional World War II historical fiction, it kind of took me by surprise that it kind of, the sole focus isn't their time during World War II, rather it's the events kind of 5 to 6 years after it. And so it was very interesting kind of how the marketing of this was done, especially because I feel like her other books were like kind of strictly historical fiction. This one is historical fiction with where the historical fiction kind of plays a background role into the main plot of the narrative. And so I did think that was very interesting, but it was a pleasant surprise and I really enjoyed it. And she did a really good job at being suspenseful, getting in the different kind of plot narrations and the kind of different storylines and interweaving the different perspectives. I thought was really well done, and I can't wait to see what she comes out with next. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully my fall reading wrap up will be a little bit more, have a little bit more content for you guys to talk about. Like I said, the summer was just very slumpy. I don't think I've been like this in like years. So I'm hoping kind of with the fall season, I'll get back into kind of being better with my reading and kind of just being more on top of it. And luckily there's not going to be any traveling for the next foreseeable future, which is nice. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite books were from this summer and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.